It's going to challenge 420.69 this summer.
Oh.
We'll definitely see that.
You did time the 140 or 139 correctly, like bullseye. That was insane. Like that was something that's very extremely hard to do.
The next big thing that's going to drive growth of this company is full self-driving robotaxi. Maybe that gets us halfway from like $300 to like $1,000 a share, and that is $5,000 a share for Tesla.
5,000 by 2028. That's insane.
They're not a robotaxi company. They're not an energy company. They're not a humanoid robot company. That Tesla is the preeminent engineering company in the world. They just solve problems.
One thing you mentioned last time when we were talking, you mentioned something very interesting, and it has bear fruit till today. You've said that for 2025, you should be buying every single dip you can get. And then when you look at the chart, it looks like if you've been buying on every dip, you've actually been doing pretty well this year. Is that still true for this year? Welcome back, Steve, who is the Tesla tracker. If you guys don't know, this is the second time I brought Steve back onto the channel because there's a lot of developments going on with Tesla, and he's very good with technical analysis. I mean, his name on X is a Tesla tracker, and you guys can see his little handle there as well if you guys want to follow him, which I do recommend. He tracks Tesla religiously. And it's a sheesh moment, and I'm very excited to have you back, Steve. Welcome back. How are you feeling?
Thanks, Pejjy. I'm glad to be here. I was adjusting the camera because I wanted everyone to see my shirt here. It's the usual suspects, but these aren't the droids you're looking for, or which ones are. So actually, I decided to rebrand myself. I'm no longer the Tesla tracker. I could really chart and track anything, and I actually frequently do. So instead of the Tesla tracker, I'm just tracker now. And part of what I did that was the whole, I went through this whole like depression. The last time we talked, we were very exciting. It was an exciting time.
Yeah.
It was December of 2024. And the outlook for 2025 was amazing and gorgeous. Yeah. And then what I didn't see was how the Trump tariffs were going to really just like give the markets a gut punch. So when we last talked, I was projecting that Tesla would easily hit $700 by July of this year. And then what happened instead was we got a big sell-off in December. And then it kind of started to come back in January, but it could make a higher high and make a lower high, and it plummeted again, and it all accumulated in basically like another, similar to the Japanese carry trade that we had on August 5th. Yeah. This time it was April 7th. April 7th was sort of like the deadline, but that turned out to be the bottom with the tariffs, and it kind of went to a tariff reprieve, and then everything started to lift back up. And in fact, if you bought anything you bought on April 7th of this year, you're up bigly now, including Tesla.
That's right.
So yeah, that whole thing, that whole quarter, the Q1 of 2025, it pretty much wrecked all my projections for that I had up until the end of 2024. So I no longer believe that we'll get to 700 by the end of July. It's still technically almost possible, but I don't think it's gonna. I don't think it's
gonna reach that
possible, not probable.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of things happened that we didn't think was gonna happen. Well, the tariffs thing. Well, there's deals going around now, so I think that's gonna bring up the whole market. But another thing we didn't see happening so soon and so abruptly was the Elon and Trump feud.
Yeah, it was not on my bingo card for this year.
Yeah, that was I knew these two guys would fall. I know they would, but I mean, again, I think they're still on the same page behind the curtains. But the way how it happened, where Elon, was accusing Trump is on the Epstein file and all these things. This was not the way that I thought it was going to go down. Yeah, that was
went like super ballistic really fast.
That's what I mean. It went 0 to 100 real quick, like in a day. Like I didn't think it was gonna. I thought the fall was gonna be something like a little bit, not gradual, but not as fast as it was now. Like it's crazy. But here we are in July. From December till now, we didn't think that there's gonna be another American party or another U.S. party. Well, because of Elon, now there is, and all that takes effect. But at the end, I mean, we have other awesome things that went down. For example, we have robotaxis now on the road. We have Robo taxis going to multiple cities. We have Tesla entering India now. We have affordable models coming out. I'm pretty sure very soon. I think they're gonna debut in India the affordable models because
Yeah.
things seem to be that's very exciting, and just so many more exciting things that are much bigger than Elon and Trump, in my opinion. So, by the way, I recommend everyone to go follow Tesla Tracker or now Tracker now because he does all these technical stuff. But what do you think is the well? We said $700 by July is not possible, and we can see maybe it could go up to at the best case scenario because we have earnings coming up on 23rd of July, and I think we did get a better. Well, it didn't beat the consensus, analyst consensus when it comes to deliveries, but it was better than what everybody expected as well. Um, so maybe there'll be a very interesting news on the earnings call, but maybe talking about robo taxis, and I think that's what all the analysts are eyeing right now. They're not really caring about deliveries right now. They're caring more about what robo taxis, how that can expand, and how much that can contribute to the bottom and top line in the next 12 months or so. And I think that's much more important. So maybe. I mean, you're right. 700
I
by
don't
this month is not really. I mean, not that high probability, but maybe we could see 400s. I don't know.
Oh,
What
no,
do you
we'll
think?
definitely see 400. No, I think this summer we're definitely going to see. I did a whole chart where we had an island bottom where the
Hmm.
price had gapped down, and the bars were just like sitting all. They're just floating in space down there, and that's my friend Cantonese Cat talks about this. It's called an island bottom, and eventually the gap fills and everything just springs back up again. And I think in my chart, I drew, Snoop Dogg up there in the upper right hand corner, smoking a blunt. And yeah, it's going to challenge 420.69 this summer.
Oh,
We'll definitely see that. And then the market makers kind of know that it's a meme price and they'll keep selling it and selling it and selling it. But eventually they'll relent and let it top out. And then it'll probably correct again a little bit, but then find a higher low and then we'll get a higher high. And $700 I view as very possible by the end of the year.
hmm.
Not by July anymore, but by the end of the year.
Yeah. I think
Anyway,
that's
I kind of felt like I staked my whole reputation on it hitting $700. I mean, I did $700 by this July, and then so after the first quarter of this year, I said, "Well, I can't be the Tesla tracker anymore." So I just lopped it off. I'm just tracker, but I feel it's much more freeing. I tell you, I actually had PTSD from drawing Tesla charts for a little
Well, no, I
while
mean
there.
I mean, you did time the 140 or 139 correctly, like
I
bullseye.
did.
That was
I did.
insane. Like that was something that that's very extremely hard to do. And by the way, guys, anything we say here is not financial advice. Nothing of it is financial advice. We're just talking about you know just lines on a chart and what could happen. That's it. That's it. Just technical stuff. But it's very interesting to see how things can go, and you know, what could the projections be? Tracker, I would say his reputation when it comes to mainly when it comes to Tesla. I know you removed your Tesla from Tesla Tracker is pretty high. So you and the great
Thanks.
Matsby, you guys have really high
Well,
probability
yeah,
when it
it's
comes to
Matt Matsby and
Tesla
I. We
stock
do a
and stuff.
morning show every morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we take chart requests and we go through our charts. And Matt goes through all the indices, and we always hit Tesla and Bitcoin. And there's a sort of relationship between Bitcoin. It's a correlation, not causation. Relationship between the two. But Bitcoin price when it starts to go up really high, like it is right now, Tesla price often follows it too, and not just because Tesla has a large treasury of themselves of Bitcoin, but just the way the liquidity flows in the market. It seems to be that when Bitcoin moves, Tesla often does too.
That's right.
And now I think everyone's kind of like they're hunkered down, they're waiting to get that new Q2 earnings report coming out,
Yeah.
and I'm excited to see it. I think it's going to be another surprise to the upside. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
We'll get another big surprise to the upside.
I think the earnings call is more important than whatever the number is going to be shown. So I think that's
It
what everyone's
is.
eye.
It's when Elon comes on after and then talks about and gets his team up there, and they're all talking about what's coming down the pipe. And we've seen like, I watch Sawyer Merritt's feed all the time. He's always got, the
Yeah.
latest things coming out in Tesla. And there are like these pictures of like this car that looks shorter. It
Oh
looks like a
yeah.
Model 3, but it's only 2 doors and it's not necessarily the Robotaxi.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe they're working on that cheaper model. You know, I guess one thing I was going to say was earlier, you were talking about how the analysts aren't so focused on deliveries now.
Yeah.
I mean, right, because it's behind us, right? But
Yes.
I hate the way, the big the analysts, not Dan Ives, I like Dan Ives, but the other analysts that talk about, they're always moving the cheese, right? It's like if this doesn't fit their narrative, well then they'll harp on something else.
Yeah.
But the thing about Matt and Cantonese Cat and I,
Mm.
all X, we're like the three tech charting bros together.
Yeah.
And Danny Chang, he's amazing.
Oh yeah.
So many, and Real Blonde Broker and Hiding Out. And anyway, this is a whole, we've got a little cadre, and Freedom by 40. Anyway,
Amazing.
we always look at the charts. If you want to know what price action is going to do, you just have to look at the charts.
Okay.
And the news cycle tends to just try to catch up to whatever the price action is. And they always they look around, they try to say, they try to blame it on the weather. They try to blame it on a tweet or somebody's bad mood, but the price action is just about the physics of price momentum, and when shares come in demand, and when they get oversold or overbought, and that's kind of it. And so I look at the most important tool in my toolbox are Fibonacci ratios, where I'm simply looking at important inflection points and polling ratios, and it works out beautifully every time. That people, they think about how I nailed that 143.79 price point, but like $5 lower and a month later.
Yeah.
But I do that every day. I do that every day on all sorts of
Every
stocks
day. Yeah.
that aren't just Tesla.
One thing you mentioned last time when we were talking, you mentioned something very interesting, and it has bear fruit till today. You've said that for 2025, you should be buying every single dip you can get. And then when you look at the chart, it looks like if
Yeah.
you've been buying on every dip, you've actually been doing pretty well this year if you've been doing that. Is that still true for this year?
Yeah, it's absolutely true. I got to look at the Larry Williams report, and I think I kind of was interpreting it through a certain, some rosy colored lenses back in December. And now I look at it, it's like, oh, it was telling me something completely different. But it's like the Larry Williams report kind of predicted like a big drop in the beginning of the year. And it didn't jive with me at the time. Now I see, oh, okay. But yeah, and he says the same thing, just buy every time it dips, buy it. I wouldn't necessarily trade in and out. I'm sort of infamous for trading in and out of Tesla, trading in and out of Nvidia, also at Palantir, all kinds of tech stocks and crypto stocks. And I'm telling my own paid subscribers now, don't trade in and out anymore. We're now in the third wave. It's like the heart of the third wave, where everything just wants to rip up and up and up, up. And everywhere where you were sort of muscle memory trained before, it's like, oh, this is a top, I need to sell this, and it's going to come back down. It's not going to act like that anymore. Now we're in the part where the market just does the first kind of like almost like a melt up to the wave 3 top, which I think is going to go. I think it's seasonally, things are going to go up and up through the summer. And then like it'll start to peak maybe August, September-ish maybe. And then we'll start to get like a dip and then like a higher low. And then spooky October 31st is what I'm looking for another market bottom. I mean, last year was August 5th, but I don't know, typically August 31st, the Halloween scares, when I look for an opportunity to buy a big dip. So I'm not saying that you should sell at the end of the summer, but I mean, you know what you can do is just look at my VIX chart every day, actually many times a day, if you follow me, and turn on the alerts so that you can see all my posts and replies. I post the VIX chart all the time, every trading day, and I've got it marked on there. I should show you. So here's my VIX chart. Let me go to a larger time scale. This is a 16-hour candlesticks. Every candlestick here is 16 hours. I used to strictly do like high time frame analysis on 8-hour charts. Then I realized, oh, well, 16 is twice as good because it kind of evens out the prices across 2 trading sessions. So I've just looked back. I've got these lines right here: absolute panic, extreme fear, greed, the take profits line, extreme greed, and they're just based on historic price action. They're not hard and fast things. It's not something I looked up or, I just kind of looked back through this chart, and for myself, it's like, oh, like every time it goes this high, the markets are like totally freaking out. This is the pandemic right here.
Yeah.
And then after that, right here, here's the August 5th carry trade. Yeah, exactly. The August 5th carry trade. And then here's April 7th this year was the bottom of the market again in 2025. So, and you can see I've already got marked right here, October 31st, 2025. I'm kind of counting down the days right here. I guess I'm a little behind updating this. I haven't looked at this in a while. We are right about here. So about 112 days to October 31st. And you are here. And ever since we hit absolute panic on April 7th, the VIX has just been trending back down again. It wicked down through extreme. I promise I won't take too long on this. I love charts, so a lot of times I will spend a lot of time describing chart price action. But here we left absolute panic behind. Tested back through extreme fear. It kind of wicked back up. It sort of oscillated around extreme fear. You see a lot of oscillation around important price points, or in this case, the VIX. And then right here was this last wick that went through extreme fear and then back down. And then after that, after it calmed the F down, it gapped down right here over a weekend, April 11th to April 14th. And ever since then, it's only trended down. We did get a little bit of wick back up to kind of test fear again, but it was only wick. The candle bodies closed lower and a little higher low or lower high, but then lower and lower and lower and lower. It's just been a trend down ever since then. And so I've got this this trend line goes through this point and this point. Once we got into like May, it's like, oh, okay, well, things are looking much better. Well, I think I even talked about, we went through, we converted from fear to greed. And then we were in greed for a good long time here, May 12th, right through May 22nd. Here, it did a wick up just to test back, to kind of back test the halfway point between greed and fear. I drew these lines like way back. I think in April I did draw them, and then you can see it really back tested like the halfway point between fear and greed. And then now we've gotten lower lows and lower highs and lower lows, and things are calming back down. And you are here right now on we're at 1636. We're well below the halfway point between greed and what I call the take profits line. All this was just to say that don't necessarily try to choose the top, but if you look at the VIX and just copy my line right here, about 1380 on the VIX, or even better, 1344 is this Fibonacci retracement level that I got by taking the April 7th high to right at the fear line, right this wick right here at the fear line. And the 141 is an important Fibonacci level. 141.4, that would be right around the take profits line. So when you see the VIX get into this territory, you really want to, even with Tesla, unless you're just a super diehard, Pejjy, long-term, will never sell my shares. If you're not that, you're going to want to take some profits just go back to some cash as the VIX gets this low to 1344. At some point in the past times, you'll see this. When you see this wick down towards extreme greed, get out. This is where you can get out because the market is about to do this.
Interesting.
It just keeps going back to extreme fear.
So
from extreme greed, it switches to extreme fear, very quickly. So the take profits line is it's not a hard and fast line, but it's a zone that's definitely a danger zone that the market is getting close to topping out. And you could wade into the extreme greed zone, but you are playing with fire by that point. And I've even got these projection lines again. I'm sorry, I'm talking more about the VIX chart than Tesla chart right now. But these projections right here, I've got this trend line, and it kind of hits the take profits line around July 31st. Maybe this 141 around August 4th. That's almost the anniversary of the carry trade, August 5th last year. The extreme greed, if we get that low, it tags right about August 20th. Seems to be where this top trend line intercepts with extreme greed. So there you go. That's how I'll be watching. That's how I'll be looking at everything, not just Tesla, but everything in the market. When the summer wears on and we get into this zone, I'll be slowly moving back to cash. Yeah, and that's pretty much it.
Interesting.
Now, while we're looking at the screens, let me bring back this lovely chart, which again I credit to my bestest trading buddy, Matsby, the great Matsby. He's at Matt Hughes 13. You can find him just on my profile. He's all over it.
When it comes to the VIX, before I went all into Tesla, I was an investor back then too, but for some of the stocks, I would use the VIX as leverage to see when I can buy and sell certain stocks, and it would work. It would work perfectly. It would work nicely because, you can tell what's fear, like you mentioned in the chart, what is fear, what is greed. It actually works nicely. But ever since Tesla, I don't do that. But as long-term investors, as me, when I first bought my first few shares in 2020 and started to go all in, then I made a promise to myself that I am not selling a single share until 2030 unless it's like 20x's or something, like something ridiculous that happens. And there's a lot of Tesla investors that kind of have the same mentality where they say that they're not selling until 2030. So let's see what you believe what could happen from now until 2030 and what has changed from the first time.
Sure. Let me just say, I wish I had just gone your route, Pejjy.
Really?
I was just telling you just before the show how at one point I owned over like 1,000 shares of Tesla when it was like $50 each.
Oh.
And I should have just held it. I should have just held it and just, forgot and never touched them. And of course, no, I was, trading in and out. I still trade in and out. Matt Hughes will tell you, you buy it and then you hold it. The great Matt says, just buy it and hold it. And that's what he does when things drop down to a support level. That's when he gets all excited. When things are in the red and everyone's like screaming and there's blood in the streets, that's when he gets excited and he buys. Yeah, and then when everyone gets excited because it's like running up to resistance, that's when he's more cautious. And, I think that's when behind the scenes, he kind of moves things around a little bit. He doesn't really talk about when he sells because he doesn't want to influence other people's trading decisions. But I think that's I don't even pry into when he sells stuff, but, I think he takes a little off the top when things get into a big resistance point, meaning like, a big top, and then he just waits. He's very patient and he'll wait for things to drop to the bottom again. Yeah. When I had $50 a share Tesla, I should have just held it. Just never touched it. I would be great now. I would be fine. I'm great anyway. I'm still beating the SPY by 4 times this year. I'm trying to break my record and go over 5 times the SPY. Usually, on average year, I do 3 times the SPY. So anyway, and that's just trading it out, and it can be exhausting. And it's exhausting to follow me. My poor followers and subscribers. I try to tell them this is what the chart says.
But that's why I just stick to buy and hold. Trading and stuff is just too much stress.
It is. It's very stressful. So this chart is brought to you by the great Matsby. This is his incredible work. This is his long-term Tesla chart, and I'm borrowing it and showing it off. And yeah, you can see here from the beginning of time, back here about 2010, and adjusted for the splits and everything, it's like this low. But anyway, the Gann charts, it has this magical. It's got Fibonacci levels built into the design of it, and it works for everything. It's incredible. And Matt just finds this 45-degree trend angle, which I think for Tesla is, I'm not sure actually. Wait, no, that's the 45 trend. So this one right here, this is the one that was riding on for a while, and it departs and then goes sideways. It almost catches back up to it, then runs back up and departs. And are we going to be stuck here until it catches up to it again? I hope not. A lot of times what happens is So you can see price, it goes to this next fib level, this horizontal level. And then in this case, Tesla just kind of, once it gets to these arcs, these Gann arcs, it kind of ran up, dropped back, tested back to it, then ran up to the next set of arcs, and it went into it, and it intercepted the horizontal level here, which is funny. We're right back here again, 309.03. That's pretty much right back at the same level that we were in February of 2021. And so this line has been we've been stuck on it for a long time. And it already back tested the arc here, and went back up, and it back tested this arc, and it left behind. And once we back tested this arc, and that was the one that was the low I predicted. It hit it, and then we got that incredible run up that got us all really excited. But what it did was it hit a Fibonacci resistance level. See this significant top, and then it runs back away from it. Yeah, that's what we call a significant top. Like I kind of just gave it away there. So I'm going to put the 0% fibs all the way down here when it was like $1 a share, adjusted for all the splits. And then I put the 100% level right on top of the significant top. And then look and see what happens with the Fibonacci levels. You can see it ran up to this contentious 1168, kind of got to the top of the arc, back tested the 1168, and then it runs up. I'm sorry, this part's is going to be technical. I am a technical trader. But we'll get to the exciting stuff again soon. This is exciting for me.
Yeah, that's okay. We want to see the technicals.
Yeah, test the arc and the horizontal line. Get sent back to this 1272 Fibonacci level. Very important also. And then that was kind of the low before it ran up and got us the 414.50 high, or 414.50 high. And then from there, it had to go back. And that was, I guess, was that the 150? It would be funny if it was the 150, 1.5. Not quite. Actually, it was like 1.4 something else. It just couldn't. It couldn't get over the 141, and it sends it all the way back down to this previous level below the 1618. That was when that was like the $100, the $101 level where Elon was selling shares to raise money to buy Twitter, but then we recovered back under this horizontal Gann line around where we are now. About it was like 297 is what it is. Tested back to it, and then we run back down. And I'm retelling the story again. Back here in February of 2023, I'm telling everyone, look, we're getting lower highs and lower lows. This thing is going to be testing a critical point. And I did some fractal analysis, and I determined that was going to hit 143.89. And what we got was 138.32 or something like that right here. Came very close. And if I'd known then what I know now, I think I would have just looked at this Gann that I'm showing you. I mean, these Fibonacci retracement levels on the log scale that I'm telling you now. Anyway, all that to say is we kind of ran up we were running for the 1.5 fib up here and just didn't quite make it. And it got sold off and it sent us back to the 1272. Didn't have to actually quite get there. And now you could kind of draw a line. I mean, this is what I do in my brain all the time. I draw a line through the price action to see the trend. We're in an uptrend. It wants to go to the 1618. Maybe... Gosh, that doesn't look... What you'll see is oscillation on this center trend line. Some chartists will do a parallel channel, maybe like this, to these two significant bottoms, and then here's that significant 414.50 high. Come here, you. I just want you to go here, right there. Okay, well, and then here's sort of like the channel line. All right, let's just use that instead. Let's use this channel center line. And so it's kind of resistance. Every time it gets over the channel line, it gets sent back down towards the bottom of the channel. And I don't know, maybe the channel is closing in. The noose is tightening. What happens when you drop a rock into the water, Pejjy? You get some big ripples, right? And then, but over time, the ripples calm down.
Yeah.
So that's what's happening here is the oscillation is starting to squeeze down and calm down. And so eventually, I think we'll get price action much more closer inside this channel here. So maybe the average will reach this 1618 about January 22nd of 2029, but the average doesn't tell you the whole story because price could easily, like in the middle of all this, run up to the to 855.49 before, an oscillation that high is going to send it back down a bit lower again. Oh my gosh, Tesla. No wonder I got PTSD. Yeah, and then after that, it's gonna maybe it can if it oscillates low enough, it recharges the whole thing, and then sends it back up again. Now this doesn't quite make sense because I don't think it would retest the exact. Well, we did do all that. Retesting the exact same level that you just left is usually kind of a no-no. Though Tesla has been going a lot of sideways. So I know this is the kind of stuff what I would like to see. I'd like to see the price action touch this right here. That is like 1520, right around March of 2027. So this is the kind of price action that I dream of, and it's totally plausible right here, where this arc line cuts through this contention point of the 1764. Now let's see where the next actual Gann horizontal line is, just above the 200% mark on the Fibonacci, these logarithmic lines. So we're like, here's the 100% point, right? Here's that significant high that we use to gauge all the rest of this. And when you double that, you almost get to where the next Gann line is. These Gann horizontal lines are very important. Just like you see here, it was resistance before it flipped to support, and then ran up to the next one. And it's been resistance, resistance, resistance. Now it's flipping it to support again. So maybe it's ready to go to the next line up here. It's just these arcs will be resistance at first. But here, let me just do it this way. Let's look at it this way. It's a nice purple little marker here. So we are right now, this very moment, price seems to have flipped this horizontal Gann line into support again. So maybe it can go higher now, and it can like bounce around on top of this parallel channel I just drew for you, get to the arc.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll get rejected or if it'll pass through it. This time it passed through it. This time it kind of followed it. The first time it follows it. This time it kind of passed through it. So maybe it gets above the arc, is too much, test back down to the bottom of the arc. Now we're at like $1,400 a share after getting to like almost $3,000 a share. And then eventually it gets up to this horizontal line and goes sideways again for a while. And that is $5,000 a share for Tesla. And,
Oof.
It just has to happen
Like
sometime after January 25th of 2027. Sometime after that point. More likely it'll happen after a low somewhere around February of 2028. Let's just pull this out a little bit. Let me turn this off.
Wow. 5,000 by 2028. That's insane.
Matt doesn't like to make these kind of projections. He likes to let the chart speak for itself. I get impatient. I just run ahead with my brain. I like start envisioning all the possible scenarios. And this one seems pretty likely to me. So yeah, after 2028, we'll get a high in 2027, maybe the summer 2027, around 3,000, and it drops back, and people are like, oh no, it's the end of the world, when it comes back down to like 1,300 or so in February 2028. And then after that, it wants to get up to the next Gann horizontal line. So we leave the 300 behind, and we get to go to the 5,000. So there you go. And we talked about this last time in that, let me get rid of this now. It just kind of making my chart messy, and send this to the back. And then, so I just drew this so you could see, this is the Gann horizontal line right across here that we've been stuck at for years, right? But, this is when Tesla was a car company. It made this leap when they first did what, Pejjy?
Yes.
When they showed that they're a profitable company. As soon as they showed that they're a profitable company in auto, we came to the 300 level. And ever since then, it's like, okay, look, the next big thing that's going to drive growth of this company is full self-driving robotaxi. And so, maybe that gets us halfway from like 300s to like $1,000 share. And the next thing after that, I don't know, it's a toss up between AI, Optimus, and energy. Probably energy next. That's what we kind of talked about last time. Maybe it's Tesla as a
Yeah,
utility company
maybe,
that gets us to $5,000 a share. I don't know.
maybe.
Maybe it is. Maybe it's just XAI. It's just it's Grok, right? Grok, and starts to invent new science that did you read like Elon talking about how he was talking with Grok 4.0 and he's just blown away when it started answering questions for him that you couldn't even read. These answers weren't in any textbook. Grok was making some
Yes, 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 yes.
inferences.
That was insane.
So maybe Grok. What I guess it's not Grok itself. It's like uh, whatever it whatever it is that Grok invents next kind of fills in this gap. Or I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's Optimus first, and then it's whatever Grok invents next after that. So Optimus gets us to the $20,000 share level, and then this next horizontal GAN line is $85,000 a share. And these things, they come true. It just takes time, but these things come true.
Is insane.
Charts are, I swear, they're absolutely infallible. So it's just a matter of time before we hit all of these lines.
I don't even know how that's even possible. That hurts my brain to like the highest level. It's just insane. Now, here's the thing. My price target for 2030 is 30, like 3,000, 3,100, somewhere around there. If we get 5,000, I would be ecstatic if that happens. And then if you're talking about,
Yeah.
I mean, when Optimus comes in, I mean, an $85,000 stock price, that would be a market cap of, so what is it? A $10,000 price target is a 30 trillion. So 80,000 is like times that by 8. That becomes like 250 trillion or something like that. That is just mind-boggling.
I never doubted it for a second when Elon says, when he first said, and every time he says it ever since then, that Tesla could easily become the world's most profitable company. I never doubted it for a second. They're not a robotaxi company. They're not an energy company. They're not a humanoid robot company. That Tesla is the preeminent engineering company in the world. They just solve problems. They have the
right.
magnetar effect. It's like the heaviest object, the heaviest known star in the universe. They draw all the talent in from worldwide. The best and brightest minds go to work for Elon, and they solve problems just one after another after another. And so there's nothing that Tesla can't accomplish given enough time and resources.
And now we're going to have Grok go inside Teslas, which is going to change. It's going to change everything once Grok goes inside Tesla. That's going to change everything. Oof.
You're doing the right thing, Pejjy. You just keep buying. Yeah, buying every dip is the thing to do. And people don't think about this, but if you just keep buying every dip and you never sell, and then it goes up and you just make some more money elsewhere, and there's a new dip and you buy some more money, and then it balloons up again. If you need the money, you don't even have to sell the Tesla shares. There are plenty of. I've got lots of subscribers. They just sell covered calls, just way out of the money, and they get bought up anyway. Or once you have enough money in the stock market and shares, if you need money, you can just borrow against your shares. Like you can just borrow against that capital equity from a bank, or we're going to have decentralized finance soon. You can borrow against that to use it as collateral, and you just use the money. You never sell, and eventually the Tesla stock price goes back up again, and you sell a little bit then and pay off what you borrowed.
Not financial advice. Not financial advice there, but if you're a
Not
long-term investor,
advice.
and yeah, that's a big one, But look, I mean, I would honestly do that with margin and stuff like that. I just don't touch it because I want to sleep at night, right? Like right now, when I sleep at night, the only thing that's not making me fall asleep, or I guess I just have a hard time sleeping, is that I just don't have enough stock. That's it. But if I do go on margin, that's gonna really put me on ease, on edge, not on ease.
Yeah, wait. Let me clarify something. I'm not advocating
Yeah.
that anyone borrow on margin to buy Tesla shares. Do not do that, because the volatility will absolutely get you margin called. I'm just saying that once you've built up enough equity in the stock market, in Tesla stock or what have you, you don't have to sell your shares to get spending money. If you need money, you can just borrow it from a bank and use your brokerage account as collateral. That's what I'm saying. Don't borrow on margin to go into the market. The market will wreck you if you do that. Never
Yeah.
trade a margin.
I guess that makes sense. Sheesh. Good. This was a really cool update. I think we got an idea of what we can expect from Tesla going forward
Oh
into
my-
this year. A lot of Tesla investors will find this video pretty helpful. I would say this is that if you're an actual long-term investor, I don't think you would have any fears or panics. If the Elon and Trump thing is something that really, 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 really bugs you, I mean, just don't look at the noise, look at the signal, and the signal is very strong. It really is strong. And, I made so many videos about it on this channel that you guys can go back and listen to. And on X, if you guys aren't following me or Tesla Tracker on X, I recommend you guys do. His X handle is in the description or on the screen right here. You guys can see. So I do recommend you guys to go ahead and follow him for some of these things that he does when it comes to technical analysis. Again, I'm a guy who follows fundamentals, but it's good to see technical analysis and fundamentals dance around each other, because that's when you will get
oh,
that prediction becomes more of a certainty, in my opinion. When you see the fundamentals and then the technicals coming together, it's like you're going to see some very beautiful things happen. So I think that's why it's very important to, yes, look at the fundamentals, but you see where the technicals are at. And back in December, Steve did mention that buying every dip this year, and we should continue to do that, has paid off, and it looks like it's going to continue to pay off
oh, forever. It's just gonna Tesla will just keep going up and up and up. So every dip you buy is just money in the bank,
for the long term.
literally.
Yes, not if you're trading it, but in the long term, yeah. I mean, I see that too. I sense that too. That's why I'm very comfortable. I've been buying every day now this year, which is insane. Like every day I've been buying 3, 4 shares. It's crazy. So yeah, this is Tesla. In our opinions, and many opinions out there, will become the world's most valuable company. And as many people say on X, that we just don't have enough Tesla stock. Sheesh. Not financial advice, but that's how we feel. Steve, is there anything you want to add here before we wrap it up?
I'm very excited about the new Grok 4.0, the Super Grok that's out now. I've been using it; it's amazing. And Elon's already tweeted; he's already said that they're going to have Grok is going to be in the full self. It's going to be in the cars. It's going to be in the Tesla cars
Yeah,
now. So
that's massive.
The integration is that's fantastic. I can't even begin to think about use cases.
That's the beauty about Tesla and Elon and his companies, that you have an ecosystem outside of the company where they all benefit each other. And it's not like 1 or 2 or 3 companies. It's like a handful. SpaceX, AI, and X, now they're merged. You have Boring Company, Neuralink. I don't know what else there is, but all these do help each other. And we can see a prime example with, XAI and Tesla and SpaceX and Tesla and Starlink and all that kind of stuff, and Boring Company, Neuralink. They all help each other. And that's why I say that, and we say that we can see Tesla becoming the world's most valuable company, because no other company has this advantage. And this is a very big advantage when you're, trying to innovate and trying to be ahead of everybody. So, sheesh.
Sheesh, indeed. Yeah, there's no catching up to Tesla now.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in. This was an awesome podcast. Make sure you guys follow the tracker here. He had some very interesting things, and he does every morning. I think you do the you and Great Matsby go over Tesla every
Right.
morning to see how it is and stuff like that. So if you guys really want to see what's happening day to day, and maybe you guys want to swing trade the stock or something like that, because I've always said that Tesla, if you swing trade it and you know what you're doing, you can make a lot of money. Not financial advice, but that's just how I feel. So Tracker is a really good guy, really good account to follow, and I do highly recommend him. Tracker, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, Pejjy. I'm here to help. That's my whole mission on X. Elon invited me here, and I took the call to adventure, and here I am. I'm here to help.
Glad you're here. Thank you so much, man. And we shall see you in the next episodes, next podcasts.
You're
See
welcome.
ya.